Hi, he's David.
And he's Doug.
He's a spooky, scary skeleton.
And he ain't afraid of no ghosts.
And together we are...
2D.
And we watched... Ghostbusters.
Not the original.
Not the original.
Not the sequel.
The
reboot.
Remake, reboot, quasi thing.
Yeah.
With the all-female cast. The one that's very controversial, and we're probably going to get loads of hate for this. Either way, so whatever.
Whatever.
And whatever.
Yeah.
So let's just dive straight into it. You probably already heard enough about this movie, so Liam, give me the positives.
The effects. The effects on this film are quite impressive. They hold up throughout the film. There isn't like a budget cut halfway through or anything.
Yeah, you do get that with some movies. It's like there's just like one or two. I think it was Hardcore Henry, one bit where everything just looked like it was rented on a PS2.
Turned into old school Doom for a minute. Yeah.
It legitimately did turn into Doom for a moment.
Yeah, it didn't do that. It kept up its effects and they were quite beautiful. Like the colours they used and how they did it was just good.
It was really nice. Like the effects themselves were really cool.
Spoilers, there's ghosts.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I actually quite like the designs of the ghosts. Well, most of them. For the majority of the time, I liked the effects that they've used with the ghosts, making them kind of raggedy and skeletony, but there was like this clear blue smoky thing around them. And there was some really good design elements on those ghosts.
Yeah, especially the first ghost you bump into.
Yes, that is a nice ghost. Well, it's not a nice ghost. It's not a very nice ghost at all. But it's
you tap it, got it.
Anywho, yeah, some lovely designs on the ghosts. Anything else you got there?
There were like, is this spoilery about the jokes?
I think we can.
Okay, I'm just gonna say they have some good jokes in this.
Yeah, there are some good jokes in this. There are some jokes, some less good jokes. I'll go.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wasn't too sure whether to say it because I want to say there's good jokes, but there are bad jokes too.
Yeah, but we can go on to those negatives.
Yeah,
and it's spoilers.
The good jokes that I found in this just really it was good.
Yeah. And generally, there was just some really some nice set design in this, and everything technical on it. What was it?
Props.
Yeah, and everything technical on this film was really good. And the main actresses did quite a good job as well. Main standout, head and shoulders above everybody else, was Kate McKinnon, who plays Holtzman, the stand-in for Jeff Goldblum, that's it.
The steampunk girl.
Yeah, slightly steampunk, kind of crazy, sort of kooky.
Goldblum.
Yeah, she's standing in for Jeff Goldblum's character.
Jeff Goldblum wasn't in the original.
Who was the Spectacles guy then?
He was someone, Matt Arcanine or something. He died like in 2014, I googled it.
Oh. Don't I feel stupid then? Either way, yeah. Holtzman is the best character in this, I think.
Yeah.
And so Kate McKinnon puts all her energy behind it. Holtzman is far and away the best character in this film. Not that the others are necessarily bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, I liked Patty as well.
Yeah, but Patty was good. But between Patty and Holtzman, that was those two were the big thing for me. Like, they were the best characters.
Yeah, because it was kind of strange that the other two, that were kind of like the main characters, weren't as... I don't know. We'll go on to like negatives.
I'm glad you feel the same way about that. Also, the Ghostbusters theme makes a comeback, and that's
a few
cool.
Times in different ways.
It makes a comeback in like kind of different ways. There's some good gags, some generally good gags in this, and so there's even one it's kind of cool sequence of like a heavy metal concert, which is pretty cool, I think. And there's like a big battle at the end, which is actually really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Wait, you go.
I was gonna say there's all sorts of special effects happen. It's like huge end of the world stuff. But then you probably already know that if you've already seen the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But
And slime.
and slime,
And
yes,
goo.
lots of slime.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's some fun to be had with this movie. It's relatively light and entertaining. There's nothing horrendously bad in it, so it's not a bad film. It's alright.
There's a few nice cameos in it as well, but I'm not going to spoil that because that's spoilery.
Yeah, the original cast.
No. It's spoilery.
I would say kind of appears a couple times.
Yeah, there's some good bits.
You got anything else on the positives? Okay. So, yeah, I take it that brings me on to the negatives.
The Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Great. I'm gonna start with this. Patty and Holtzman were great. The fact I remember their characters' names is good. However, I cannot remember. What were the names of the other Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy's characters? Because I can't remember.
No, I can't either.
Which is a real shame because they made
like Annie or something.
I don't know. They made the biggest portion of the movie. They made the biggest chunk.
Like they were essentially like the main characters.
They were the main characters, which is a pity because they're a bit bland. Like they were a bit, they were funny. They did their thing, but I've seen both actresses do far more. I mean, far better performances in other things. It just didn't. Their characters were kind of bland, really. I just.
Oh, we forgot Kevin. Kevin was good.
Oh, Kevin.
I like Kevin.
I was going to get to him.
Okay, you carry on.
Okay. Now let's see. We've talked about the main characters. Now let's talk about Kevin. Now you brought him up.
I like him, but I want to hear your negative opinion on him.
He's super dumb.
That's what makes him great. He's unrealistically dumb.
Yeah, but it kind of feels mean-spirited. Like, if he's dumb to the point of just it's weird.
Kind of makes it feel like a kid's film in a sense, with how dumb he is.
Like, it's not even so much that, it's just, like, the whole... Oh god, I'm gonna let's allow the comment section to explode on this one, but I'm saying if the roles were swapped, or gender swapped, so it was the dumb and attractive dumb receptionist female receptionist getting hired by a relatively horny male ghostbustery thing, there would be Kristen Wiig's character. She was just like, I want your babies.
Oh yeah, that was kind of strange.
Yeah, that was kind of strange. But I'm just saying, it would be in bad taste if it were. It would, to me, it would seem like it would be in bad taste.
You mean
if you flipped it around?
Like if it was a guy like hitting on the girl.
Yes, exactly. I'm saying it feels kind of weird, particularly when you're lauding the idea that you've got an entirely female cast. It feels weird to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and let's play a game of count all the product placement in the Sony movie. That's going to be a thing now for all Sony movies, because there were 12 counts of product placement for Sony alone.
That's not including the start credits.
That's not even including the massive Sony logo that starts and ends the film.
Like, literally, when the film starts, it's just giant Sony logo for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it is literally about 12 seconds of the Sony logo. It's like, we get it!
You made the film, you want us to buy your stuff.
And it's obvious. It's possibly worse than Chappie.
Chappie.
That was for
Peter
product
Sports and
placement.
Jelly.
Yeah, it was some horrendous product placement, including one particularly egregious one for Pringles. Like, they pretty much ground the entire thing to a halt for a Pringles ad.
Yeah, oh yeah, product. Okay, yeah, that was bad.
That was pretty horrible.
And the H&M sign. That was really just standing there.
And Woolworths as well. There's that Nuclear Blast Records. They were in there for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure the band that was supposedly being promoted by them or something doesn't exist. But
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, it gets bad when you can reel off all the product placement in a movie, like, without even thinking about it. It was distracting.
yeah, especially for Pringles.
And just generally, the whole thing, the most damning thing I could say is I wasn't laughing very much.
Mm.
A lot of the jokes fell kind of flat for me. Like, we watched The Nice Guys quite recently. And you remember, you and I were both in hysterics at that movie. I don't think there was any single gag in this film that made me laugh half as near as I did at just the mermaid bit alone in The Nice Guys.
There were two bits in the film which I really liked, but I do agree that the rest of the jokes were quite flat.
Yeah, it's like...
And almost trying too hard.
I wouldn't say they were trying too hard. It felt like they just weren't trying enough, actually. It felt like they would...
felt forced to me.
To me, it felt like they had the same problem as a lot of DreamWorks movies do, is that you're trying to set something up and then you just knock it down by throwing a gag at it. Mm. And it's like, you kind of destroyed the tension there. Like, the gag didn't work there.
And they tried to do the recurring jokes, and it was just kind of like, you're not really doing it right.
Yeah. What were the recurring jokes? Because I don't recognise them.
Like when the two girls bicker, that came back and forth as something they do, which was trying to be funny. The two main characters. Every now and then they randomly have a little conversation between themselves, and it was just kind of ridiculous.
Ah. I just saw that as a character thing.
I didn't like it. It felt like they were trying to be funny, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah, so if you're trying to do a recurring joke, you really need... This is why
You really need Nixon.
Not Nixon.
You need Nixon. You want to talk about Nixon, and then you want to see him in a swimming pool.
Okay, now I get you. See, we're talking about a far better gag from a...
better, yeah.
I was going to say, if we're on about you want a recurring gag, you want Edgar Wright working on your movie, because nobody does the boomerang joke better than Edgar Wright. And I really don't mean to put anything against Paul Feig, because I loved Spy, but it just didn't feel like Feig was working to his full potential here. The entire thing just feels soulless. Mm. It was an unnecessary film that nobody needed, very few people were happy with, and it just comes across as just Sony want money.
On a slight counter comment about it was a nostalgia fest, so like the original fans of the films will still enjoy this. Like, I liked the references, but it was a nostalgia fest though. Like, it kind of felt like crutches.
Yeah,
nostalgia.
It was hanging on those original Ghostbusters crutches pretty hard.
And if they make a sequel, I hope they take their own direction with it.
Yeah, because this was pretty much the original Ghostbusters, really. I knew like a paint, wasn't it?
Yeah. Also, you haven't seen it, Scooby-Doo 2?
Oh, I've seen Scooby-Doo 2.
I felt the plot was really, really similar to Scooby-Doo 2, and it felt like Scooby-Doo.
And let's talk about the villain in this, because he was...
strange.
He was interesting at the end.
Yeah.
Like, at the end, he was kind of a big bad, but he was just kind of
cynical for not a lot of reasons.
I know, I thought he was possessed all the way through the start of the movie. He was just
That would have made
rabbiting
better
on
sense,
about
actually.
opening the portal, smashing the world. So just constantly muttering to himself, and it's like...
That would have made more sense with the Ghostbuster spirit, to be honest.
Because the way he was acting was not that of the same person. He was just like... This isn't somebody who's got mental disorders, or this isn't some... He wasn't coming across to me as someone with learning difficulties, or somebody who's just gone nuts, or somebody that was just sick of it all. He was genuinely coming across to me as possessed, not entirely in control of his own, or at least being manipulated by some outside force.
He didn't seem criminally insane. He just felt possessed.
He just felt like a pawn in a bigger game, which really made the reveal later on that he's this super bad thing just didn't work for me.
But it was still a good ending.
Yeah, the ending of this was pretty good, but the big final scene was pretty cool. Let's not forget that. Let's chalk that up to a positive. The ending was...
You know how... Is that spoilers? That might be spoilers. I'll talk about that in spoilers.
We can talk about that in spoilers. And let's see. Is there anything else? Anything else in this?
The film started off well, but it slowed down in the middle and picked up again at the end. It felt very much like, oh, I'm now just kind of watching this.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned the heavy metal bit, the heavy metal concert, because there were some good bits, particularly with Patty, and Patty and this one mannequin, and Patty has a moment, and it's brilliant. But generally, though, that whole thing kind of it didn't feel like a heavy metal concert. Or, like, it didn't feel right. The band that were playing were rubbish.
It felt like a heavy metal concert from the outside, with the people there and stuff. But when you went inside, it looked like a pop band.
Yeah, and then for some reason, unnecessary Ozzy at the end of the scene.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne was kind of there for 5 seconds for no real reason.
It's like we need a way to close this scene. Add Ozzy.
It felt weird.
But yeah, it was just like the band that were playing were really naff, and there's a bit where one of the bands gets thrown into the massive wall of marshals, and instead of just falling slowly and crushing him like they should do, they just kind of fell like obvious polystyrene blocks.
This makes me think the film would have done better if it was a little darker. It felt
you're absolutely right.
Like, I think this film was too light-hearted, especially since the originals weren't exactly like all light-hearted and stuff. There was some serious stuff going on in them, but like this film just needed more of a darker tone to it, I think.
Or perhaps a slightly more cynical tone, maybe?
It was too everything's okay in a film that's meant to be about ghosts kind of not being okay. Not being chill.
That ghost has no chill. Back off, ghost. You know okay. Chill.
You're not okay. Yeah. That's
and Slimer is in this, and
Slimer.
I don't know. Did you enjoy his being in this?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I do, because in the original he's pretty much the same as he was in the originals. They haven't changed.
Oh, big one, big, huge, massive thing with this movie.
Thank God you said thing. Carry on.
Sorry. What do you think I was gonna say?
Okay, carry on.
Big, massive problem. This whole thing leaned on the original Ghostbusters so much. And they had the whole idea of Holtzman being the person who supplies them with all the cool gadgets, which are cool, by the way. All the proton packs and things are cool, and they throw a whole load of sciencey mumbo-jumbo out there, which is probably almost, I'm pretty sure it's all nonsense.
Made up, yeah.
Yeah, they were throwing things like protons and muons and things and nuclear, but I don't think any of it made any kind of sense. But the guns and things were cool, but the big problem, I was waiting for them to say it, and they never did. Nobody mentioned about crossing the streams.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, they didn't. That
Nobody mentioned about crossing the streams.
That's super important.
That's because they were crossing streams all over. They were like, wow!
Got a lazy ghost!
Ooh, got my proton packs, let's light up a ghost.
That's pretty much it. That's the film.
But they were...
Yeah!
Nobody mentioned about
It's super
crossing
dangerous.
the streams.
It could blow up by using it.
Yeah! If they just mentioned about crossing the streams.
Yeah, they ruined that. They've missed that out.
Yeah. And I don't think I got anything else. Which leads us to the verdict.
Yeah, but
I think this one's pretty predictable, but Liam?
I'm gonna go with 1. Go see it. You probably won't want to see it again, but if you like the original films, you will like this film, and it's just kind of enjoyable. If you like Scooby-Doo as well, go see it, because that makes sense. I'm just gonna give it a 1 because, like, nostalgia reasons, and it wasn't terrible, but yeah, you won't want to see it again.
I'm gonna have to give this a 0, which is like, this makes it like, what, the 3rd movie in a row that we've had a 1 and a 0 out on?
Possibly.
That's not good. That's not good, man. That's not a good.
Considering we started out with loads of yeses, go see it, go see it, go see it, and it's kind of like, I don't know now.
It's like, this was like...
This wasn't Shark Tale bad.
This wasn't bad. No, but there are worse films that have come out this year. Norm of the North, Bastille Day. I was entertained by this. Didn't say I was particularly disappointed, but I really can't recommend it. There's very little substance to this movie. And when you've got a movie that has very little substance, you've really got to say, well, what does it have? You know, does it have great gags? Does it have fantastic visual effects and something?
It kind of relied on cameos and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, it kind of needed nostalgia value to pull it around, and like it didn't even have the Jurassic World's benefit for me, where only half of the movie was bad.
Yeah,
because Owen's thing in Jurassic World was perfect,
and it didn't rely on the old films as much. It just had little bits in Jurassic World, but this one was very much, this happened in the old film. This happened in the old film. Look at the old film.
Yeah, look at the old film. This really just made me want to get the Blu-ray of the old film more than anything else.
The old films are better.
And they're out on 4K Blu-ray now.
I guess that kind of makes sense about this film. The old ones were better.
Yeah. Well, apparently I understand number 2's garbage.
I liked number 2, but I like every film.
You like Shark Tale.
I like Shark Tale.
I wouldn't say disappointing, but if you want a vapid, cheap movie to eat some popcorn and enjoy for what it is.
If you got Limitless, go see it.
The Secret Life of Pets is in cinemas. It's more funny. It's got better visuals. It feels warm. It's lighthearted and warm.
There's better films to go watch right now.
There's better films to go watch than Ghostbusters. If you're on if you get on like some kind of massive cinema binge, like,
why not?
Go ahead, why not? But I would not pay a full admission price for this. Certainly not. And even if it is available in 3D, I don't think it would be worth the upcharge because it's not really that good of a movie.
I read on the reviews the 3D is a little better apparently because it makes use of letterboxing. So that's the only thing.
Why would letterboxing a movie make it better?
When they do the 3D, the things go out of the letterbox to make them look more 3D. Spooky, scary.
Why not just film the damn thing in 1.85 to 1 and have done with it?
But yeah, okay, let's conclude. We got this.
Why would you violate the letterbox?
Yeah.
Why would you artificially letterbox a movie just to...
So... Go see it if you want to see it in like nostalgia or don't see it because it's kind of a horrible reboot. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. It is definitely a good nostalgia hit, but if you don't,
Still kind of a letdown nostalgia hit,
yeah,
but in a good way for me. I found
it's
like I said,
it's a bag of quavers.
like I said, wait, quavers are good.
Yeah, quavers are good, and then you finish them, and you're like,
No, it's like the original films are a bag of quavers and they're amazing, and then the new films are like the rip-off quavers. In the whole
Yes.
packets, and they're called something like Quackels or something.
Yes, you're right.
And it's just trying too hard to be like the original. And Scooby-Doo for some reason.
I think that leads us nicely on to the
spoilers. Why are we whispering?
Because spoilers!
Ain't afraid no ghosts.
Copyrighted music.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say earlier, you know the bad guy, like nerdy dude?
Yeah.
I feel Chris Hemsworth played his role better.
Yes!
When he possesses Chris Hemsworth, Hemsworth captures his character far more superiorly than this dude who was the actual character. Which is kind of...
That is so right.
Yeah. And I can't really understand it, but...
I
don't know
think
if
it
he's
just
a
comes
superior
down
writer
to that.
or-
I think it might have been just a failure on the director's end.
Yeah.
I don't think whoever was playing him was doing a bad job.
I think it... Yeah.
I think that is genuinely a directorial problem. Like someone said, act like you're a crazy person, and then didn't say didn't say
He didn't
a
look...
little bit more crazy or a little bit less possessed.
Like, he
and
didn't-
just said, yeah, that's okay.
He didn't come out intellectual in any way, but he was kind of super smart. But Chris Hemsworth made him look like he had a plan, like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
It was just-
like Chris Hemsworth was doing like the big grin, and he was all like, wah! And then everyone was like, wah!
Apparently, the original cut of the film was like 4 hours and 15 minutes long. So I think that dance was probably meant to be in the film.
Oh, please let there be the extended version.
So I think that was meant to be a part of the film, and they went, oh god.
This film is 4.5 hours long.
Like, even when you're watching the film, you could just tell that that's what was meant to happen.
Yeah, it did
It
feel
just
like
kind
the
of-
whole film had been edited down a bit.
And it felt like they possibly considered alternate plots. Like, when the guy gets dragged to the basement, I thought he was going to be some kind of main character and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought he was actually going to be like possessed
Yeah.
and used as some kind of...
And that would have been very Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like the old films, and it was just kind of strange that they did that.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to him exactly? He fell into a
Basement and
basement
kind of,
full of zombie goo.
and then he was just kind of alright and like, don't go in there, you're probably going to die.
Yeah, it was like the only thing that happened to him is brown trousers.
Yeah, it's just, it was upsetting for me. I like that actor as well, so.
Yeah, like Chris Hemsworth actually did a good job of the whole. Chris L'Oreal, because you're Hemsworth,
Yeah.
did a fantastic job of playing this like amazingly dumb character, amazingly dumb and ambiguously gay character. I would like to add.
Like, when we say amazingly dumb, when something's loud, he puts his fingers through his glasses without lenses and covers his eyes, like, that's loud. Kind of dumb.
Yeah, and like there's a bit where there's a phone in a fish tank, and there's a phone ringing, and the others say, go pick up the phone, and he's like, I can't, it's in the fish tank. It's like,
Submarine for fish.
yeah. And it kind of like, say, the receptionist in the original Ghostbusters was just lazy.
And angsty.
And angsty. So having a super dumb and ambiguously homosexual beefcake receptionist feels kind of weird, considering just how much this film lent on the original.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to me.
The cameos are nice. They pretty much had all the cast from the original films, other than the guy that died. But they did have a statue that looked like his head.
Yes.
I think that was intentional.
Yeah, that was almost certainly intentional.
But it was nice to see them all.
Yeah. And it was even Sigourney Weaver, Sigourney Weaver.
Popped
No,
up in the end.
Weaver, yeah.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver pops up at the end of the film, and it's kind of cool. There's like a
I love
nerd bit.
She's like one of my favourite female actors. It was nice seeing her.
Yeah. Sigourney Weaver is in this for a bit, and that's a nice little way to end the film. And what's it? Bill Murray plays this like killjoy scientist person who we never see again.
He dies.
I suppose he does, but he's just carried off by a monster.
No, it flew out the window and dropped him.
Oh, didn't see him drop him.
My ambulances and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, he died.
Oh.
So it was like, yeah, finally found out ghosts are real, but he kind of threw me through a window and flew off.
Yeah, it's just kind of...
And wouldn't anyone else see the pterodactyl flying around?
Yeah, wouldn't anyone else see the huge, like, flying demon monster flying around?
Oh, and the government were like saying, oh, it's a big cover-up and stuff, but I'm pretty sure lots of people saw it and kind of went, that's a freaking ghost.
Yeah. Like, everybody saw that.
Oh, you know her device that she made and stuff?
Oh, yeah, the neon thing.
When it starts spinning and stuff, she's like, oh, I didn't know it did that. It's kind of like, you made it. You should know it does that.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't that have been, I don't know. I'm being like a little...
You're being a little negative Nancy.
Yeah.
Aw, look at you, you're being just like me. While you're being all cynical.
Having the main logo as the bad guy was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Especially when he was just a little cartoon for a moment.
Yeah, for a moment he was just like a little cartoon and he was all like, no, and that was a pretty good joke at
but at the same time, it was still a reference to the original film.
Yeah.
I found that out and I was like, oh, it is.
Oh.
The whole idea of it being something small and cute instead of... Yeah.
And then there's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which they fell under.
And popped.
And
they get their car robbed by Slimer. Slimer gets a girlfriend. They start drinking. Probably slept together, and now went back to wherever they come from.
You say that, but that's exactly what happens.
I'm not making this up. Like that happens.
That happens. That is the thing that happens in half an hour.
But like I said, because it's nostalgia, he comes out of pretty much like a hot dog cart, which is very Slimer.
Yeah. And then he's just in there until like 20 minutes, half hour.
They did him right.
Yeah.
But he could have had more film time.
Yeah. Oh, there's one bit where they're like going to look for a place to set up shop as Ghostbusters, and then they go to the original place, which is the converted fire station, and then they go, wow, look at this, it's got a great ceiling to floor ratio, and it's all. And then Kristen Wiig's character says, what's the rent on this place? And the estate agent says something like $25,000, to which she a month, and then she instinctively tells her to go and burn in hell or something.
It's beautiful. It's a good gag.
It is a good gag, but it's one of the few like actually good gags in this.
Like the good gags that I can count personally are that one. The pterodactyl goes on her shoulders. And she's just like, nope, I'm done. Going home.
That's the bit where Patty's just like, no, there's nothing on me.
I don't say it. Patty just, nope, don't say it. Big like claws on her shoulders and stuff.
I am going home. I'm gonna make myself some coffee.
And the third one is the mannequin bit. I really like that bit.
Oh, the mannequin was great.
She walks by and there's a mannequin behind her. She turns around and she's like, were you there before? Please don't answer. And then it starts moving and she just starts like freaking out. And it's just beautiful. It's like every horror game ever.
It is great. That is the correct response to that.
Please don't reply.
It's perfect. It's the way to do it.
It was a surprise when the pterodactyl thing came out of it as well. I was expecting normal ghost, but it was like, oh, pterodactyl. From Scooby-Doo 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally the pterodactyl from Scooby-Doo 2. It just was.
It was. But, yeah, you got any more spoilery points? Because the movie starts out, like, super contrived, I think. Because it's just like, oh, she had a thing ages ago where she was super into the paranormal, but now she's not, and she's a respected scientist, and she gets fired because the book she wrote once is, like, I'm pretty sure science people don't just disown people.
Well, they're past, considering they've come all that way.
Yeah. Oh, and Holtzman's dance. The bit where Holtzman starts dancing with the blow torches and actually sets fires and things.
That was beautiful.
That was pretty
just so
great.
chill about it and then just put it out and stuff. She licked a gun.
Yeah. She's like, nah.
That was kind of odd. I bet it just tasted like metal.
It's pretty metal fan.
Like, nuclear material. Glow, Teeth, glow.
So yeah, I think that
about
wraps it up. 2D. Out.